We had an internal design discussion, and it was not very well received by a couple folks. We were kind of split on that decision. I think the paratroopers are incredibly underutilized. Here's my thought. Um, I suppose I could use my whiteboard. I might as well use this thing, right? So hopefully you can see this. I'm going to get rid of all this really quickly. Finally going to use my whiteboard. Yes! Okay, so I'm going to explain to you really quickly my idea of a paratrooper, what do you call it, mobile spawn. Because FRU is field resupply unit. It's just an object that we've labeled as the mobile spawn. FRU doesn't mean mobile spawn by default. So, forgive my art. I'm just going to say that now. I'm going to make it very basic. But the concept was, okay, let's see here. I'm just going to make it a line because, okay, so I'm just going to say plane, which would be like a Ju-52 for the Germans or the French because it's a shared vehicle, and then the C-47. And so the plane would come in, they would drop a paratrooper, we'll just say this is the town. Paratrooper lands here and deploys an object, and I'm just going to make it some hellacious looking radar thing just for shits and giggles. And this is going to be what I would call a drop zone. So if you think, well, that's not realistic, sure it was. The concept of, I'll get out of the way, sorry, of Pathfinders was a very realistic thing. So this would be an AO. And anyways, so let's say you have maybe 10 paras on a throttle. So the whole idea here is, you could technically, in my example, use one plane and one guy dropping one paratrooper mission leader as an example. Or we could say, in order to deploy this object, it requires 2 to 3 people. That way it requires some sort of team-based effort. So this is just a concept of how we could actually increase, I think, being someone who ran a paratrooper squad for many years, how we could actually increase paratrooper action. But this idea was kind of a split decision with our team. The idea was, well, having people inside of an aircraft simultaneously and communicating with each other was pretty cool because you build that relationship. Kind of like that old reminiscent idea of, being in the bed for pre-mobile spawns was cool. We also have to think about the market today, and in preparation for Steam, we've got to start making sure they can get to action as soon as they can without dumbing down the game. And it's a fine balance to walk. Let's see here. I hope you guys like my art. I know it's beautiful. Ian, game populations today, there are thousands of players still playing our game. There are several thousand people still signing up every month. As I was saying earlier, please don't be the guy on the sideline waiting and asking those. I mean, it's okay to ask those kind of questions, I guess. For me, it's kind of frustrating because it's like, just get in the game, find out. What are you waiting for? Just get in there. And everyone has their own idea. I keep repeating this intentionally. Everyone has their own ideas. Like, for example, this is my idea, and it's not 100% a go. But whatever your idea is, if you have bought into World War II Online, if you believe that this game truly stands out like no other and you want to see it go places, get involved. Create a free play account. Come find out. Engage in the community. I guarantee you'll stick around and be like, yeah, this is I'm glad I came back. This is a good decision. Or better yet, subscribe. If you guys want to see the development occur more, I need more people. And not only that, I've got people working for us right now, putting in a lot of work, who aren't getting paid anything. That's not going to go on forever. It's a good thing they love the game. And they do. There's no other explanation. Spartan Centurio said, when are HC uniforms coming back? When I got a character artist, we had a couple character artists that didn't get paid and had to go somewhere else. It's a very real risk, and I can't just pull this stuff out of the sky. I need people, real people with real technical skills. Developers are the most expensive, or programmers, very technical people. Artists are expensive as well, if you want good ones. So help us out. All you got to do is subscribe. That's it. No, I'm not trying to give you a sales pitch. That's just the reality, guys. Will there be subscription options available on Steam? Yes, and they may be different from what you see today. I won't go into detail because we're still discussing that internally. Crowdfund. Michael Tumitz said crowdfund. We intend to do that. We have shown that we're interested in that. For the second version, we will definitely consider that after we release on Steam and we get even more fans playing. And we can't do what Star Citizen has. I mean, that's just pie in the sky. That's just crazy talk. But we might be able to have some marginal success. Sure, maybe. Asgar Jensen said, is version 2.0 just a new client or also server code replacement? Good question. I would say it's taking everything that makes World War II great and applying that to a new game engine and starting to build a new foundation up, which I'm certain will be quite a bit better. So it's a combination of both. Someone just said I switched to my chipmunk voice on Facebook. Can you guys confirm if I sound like a chipmunk? Do I sound okay or do I sound like Alvin right now? Okay. That's weird. Listen, we've got about 14 minutes left, and I am totally great to get some more questions. So now's your time, guys. We are going to be wrapping up. We'll have some final thoughts here in about 10 minutes, and then we'll call the ball. Waiting for more questions. I'm going to have a quick drink. We've got about 10 to 15 minutes left. Will we put time into PAC and ATG modeling? Maybe. They work. Yeah, they're not pretty, but I would rather invest their time probably into building the newer stuff. I keep saying that very intentionally, guys. I'm trying to manage your expectations. That imagine, you want to see this new whatever. It's going to look a hell of a lot better in Unreal. It just is. Why? Because it's built 15 years later in some cases. That's very true. We still have a lot of original models. John Evans asks, are medics still on the roadmap? Yes. ETA to be determined. Airdropped mobile spawns. I refuse to continue calling them frues. I hate that. This is the only concept to date that we're talking about, which is the Pathfinder sort of drop zone dealios. Players submitted art assets for version 2. We're taking players submitted art assets for this version. So the answer to that question is yes, absolutely. When do we get to see a drop of the roadmap? We already have one. It's at World War II Online, so WWII.online.com/roadmap, and you'll see what our intention was. And we're not going to be able to do everything on there, but I'm trying. Can somebody post that link, please? WWII.online.com/roadmap. Andre Bauman said, Para-Fru. Oh, he made me say Fru. Gosh darn it. Para-Mobile Spawn. Simulated gliders let them spawn ATG and AAA. I think T-Gunner talked about that. Maybe. We were also thinking about how can we make that a little bit more realistic and getting a glider. So let's say we get kind of a multi-crew setup. So, time for me to erase this. More whiteboard time. Can you guys, yeah, okay, you can still see that. So, we'll just use the JU-52 as an example. And that would be the commander. That's beautiful handwriting, I know. Glider. And that would be the crew. Something like that. Or the idea here was, so you've got your plane and then your tow cable or something like that attached to this other one. So this would be the plane and glider. And then at some point, disconnect, and then that's its own flying object, if you will. But that's I don't know. What we might need to do is just create some sort of like we currently do with like trucks, where a vehicle can tow another vehicle. It'd probably be something like that. That may be an easy implementation. Maurice De La Rosa. Hope I pronounced it sounded okay. How about Fair Miles set up mobile spawns at the shores just like a truck? Not necessarily Fair Miles, but we were thinking of troop transports. I really didn't want to say that, but since you did, there you go. We were trying to figure out if transports or destroyers have that capability, and how exactly we model it to make sure it would work. And not just the mobile spawn box object, which will be replaced by mobile spawn in the future,